My name is Marla Bell. I'm currently the Assistant Director of Finance here for Horry County Government. As an internal service department, our job in the Finance Department is pretty much to develop, maintain, and administer all aspects of general accounting, invoice review, payroll functions, cost accounting. We're also responsible for the budget process, which entails at year-end preparing a CAFR for financial reporting and an annual budget document. My position within this organization is to oversee the reporting, payroll, AP, fixed assets, cash account, debt, tax reconciliations of the county. I was in the role of finance manager when the situation I'm going to speak with you today occurred. At that time, we had a new finance director, and his goal for the department was to restructure because we would be going into a new system software conversion. And I knew that going into this conversion that we needed functional areas and people in the right places that would be able to implement this. It's a very complex procedure. And the area that I was assigned to as a finance manager was an area outside of the scope of the job duties that I had been currently involved in. As a financial analyst, I did more of the cash reconciliation and capital project sales tax. So here I was placed over a functional area of operations, which entailed payroll and accounts payable from the front end, and I was used to doing the accounting on the back end. And the staff that were in those areas were all long-term employees with the exception of the supervisors. And they were fairly new like myself. And I knew going into this that there were a few folks, mainly the staff accountants, that had some issues already. So I kind of had a feeling from the on-site that that could be a potential problem. So I knew that I needed to step up and help the AP supervisor with these issues. And what was happening is one in particular was late for work on a daily basis, and they both had issues completing tasks on time and in an accurate manner. So what I began to do first in this new management role was to sit down with the employees, supervisors also, and define what job duties were, what responsibilities they were currently undertaking, because I knew going into this I would need documentation and accountability would be crucial. I began first by documenting everybody's roles and responsibility. I knew that accountability would be crucial in whatever approach that I took. And I knew from the on-site that neither one of these employees were able to meet these deadlines. I began getting complaints from other departments, and also there were issues with these employees getting along with other team members within the finance department. So what I decided to do is first go through the chain of command. I thought was very important. So I went to our director before I went to HR, and he agreed that HR would be the correct approach for me to handle these situations. So I went down to HR. They suggested a performance plan for each of these employees. So I met with the supervisor, we met with the employees, we gave them the expectation, and I thought to be fair, I would offer cross-training or additional training. These were long-term employees, and when it's long-term employees, it's a little bit more difficult than it would have been for an employee that had been there 6 months or even a year. So I knew that accountability was crucial, and I knew that we would need documentation on any events that took place. So I knew I would need the supervisor's cooperation in this also. So we scheduled routine meetings with these employees, documented how the sessions went, documenting any improvements, and at first there were improvements. But as time went by, I saw regression again back into the old habits they had before, continue to be late, continue to miss deadlines, and it was taking a lot of staff time to document these situations. It was taking time away from other folks because we were having to also pick up their work in the meantime. Deadlines still have to be met. And what happened as a result of this, unfortunately, we were tasked with having to let both employees go. And I think overall, I believe it had a positive impact on morale, because I really wanted to set the standard as a new manager and looking at it as a whole and how it was affecting our department. I didn't want other people or other employees to feel like being late was acceptable, not meeting your deadlines was acceptable. We've got a new director, new managers, a new structure. It was time to make a change and not do things the way they've always been done. And I think it had a positive impact on the organization as a whole, because all roads lead back to finance. And it's always been within the county that finance sets the example for other departments. So I wanted to lift that expectation to the employees as well. And it was a very difficult, I have to say, decision to make. I had been with the county many years at that point. I was friends with these people before. They were co-workers. And I found that moving into the management spot, it was very, very difficult for me. I had very little supervisory skills at that time. And I learned that in the past, I probably made judgments that I wouldn't have made after being in that role for a while, because depending on the shoes you're wearing depends on the way your outlook and the decisions that you're going to make. And I had to do what was right for not only our department, but the county as a whole. And I have no regrets looking back. I don't think I would have done anything any different. I was very proud of the way I handled the situation, and I felt good about it. If I could give any advice for any upcoming managers or current managers, I would say that reading, researching, seeking advice from seasoned managers was very helpful for me. I would also encourage organizations to incorporate what we have here, a leadership program. I think that would be very helpful. I think that's helped me. And I would encourage people just to take a step back and think about what you're doing and make sure that it's the right decision. And it's okay to do the right thing.